Now we're going to begin the exterior inspection checklist. First, we're going to start with the left nose. Number one item is the door seal. We're going to check 2 door seals. The first one is the weather seal, which is on the door itself. We want to make sure the overall condition is good and there's nothing torn. The second seal is on the fuselage, and this is the pressurization seal. Again, overall condition all around is good. The next item is going to be the exterior handle, which is on the door itself. We want to make sure that this is secured and flush. We don't want to make sure that it is hanging out like this, because if you close the door from the inside, this handle will not close itself. So we want to make sure that that is seated. Next is the static ports. Down below here, there are 2 of them. You want to make sure that these are clear and there's no obstructions on them. Next is the AOA vane. We want to make sure that it is free moving and overall condition is good. Next, we're going to move to the windshield wiper itself. There's 2 metal brackets here, one on the front portion and the back portion. We want to make sure that those are seated properly, and that if we lightly lift the windshield wiper, that shows that it will move freely as well. We're going to move on to the windshield and side window. Overall, you want to make sure that there's no obstructions where the pilot wouldn't be able to see outside of it. A little bit of crazing is allowed, but we want to also check that there are no major cracks or obstructions. Number 7 is the ice detector. Overall condition up here is good and that it is clear. Number 8 will be the brake reservoir, and this little window here, you want to make sure that it is full, and you will see that if it's completely red, the fluid will be completely full. Service panel number 9 is needs to be secure. This is where the crew chief hooks in his audio, so if it's open, that's okay. He will ensure right before your taxi that it is closed, but you can open it up to get a view of the nitrogen gauge and make sure that is within limits. If the crew chief isn't there, it's a good idea to just close it yourself. That way you're backing yourself up. We're going to move to the pitot drain port next. This right here, you want to make sure there's nothing excessively leaking and then that this hole is filled. Next is the nose gear. There are a few things we want to check. First, we want to make sure that the strut is approximately 3.5 inches extended based on nominal CG. We want to check the tire condition, that there are no cords, that the chime is here. This helps displace water away while we're taxiing or landing or taking off. Then we want to check inside the actual nose gear compartment that there are no animals living inside and that there are also no leaking fluids. And then you want to make sure that the front doors are flush and closed as well. And finally, you want to check the nose gear torque link pin, that it is seated appropriately and the little wire is wrapped around accordingly as well. If this is not in there, you will not be able to have nose wheel steering. You may see this at outbases when they're taxiing the aircraft or towing the aircraft around. Next, we're going to move to the cabin air discharge duct. All you want to do is just make sure that this is clear. Landing light door, you want to make sure that this is flush and secure itself, no cracks in the door, and that it is seated properly. And finally, the pitot tube. On the front and aft portions, there are little holes. You want to make sure that those are clear and overall condition is good.